You're here today to talk about your partnership with Pandora. How did this partnership evolve?
Well, we've been working with them for a couple years. So when we began the sync product feature in our car, and it came in at the end of 2007, we had the capability of streaming Bluetooth audio. And Pandora was a device that was really starting to get a lot more traction as mobile became more important. And we've done a number of campaigns with them over the years. Last fall, they brought out a new program where they turned on the ability to have their Pandora users share their song lists, and there was new functionality to Pandora. So at that time, we sponsored that program, and we got some great learnings from digital metrics to how users engaged with our ads on that. And this program is really building on those learnings and adding a cause marketing component and just kind of taking it to the next level.
So Matt, what advice do you have for advertisers who are trying to reach their consumers in more direct and more personal settings like what you've tried to do with Pandora? What advice do you have? Because it's really revolutionary what you've done with Pandora.
Well, a couple things. I think really it's about covering a number of bases, because you have to test and learn and just put different logs in the fire. You have to sit down and say, where are the different possible routes and ways we can go, what's relevant for your product and the audience you're trying to reach, whether it's Pandora, whether it's other podcasters, whether it's kind of the burgeoning app development field. Where can you relevantly place your brand and find out how you can get scale within it? So on one hand, it's battling that and finding ways to do that through whether it's social media programs and tapping into Facebook and Twitter that has scale, but then doing it in a meaningful and relevant way. And Pandora kind of hits a little bit of a sweet spot, but there are a number of other partnerships like that that we also really are just trying out and seeing what works the best.
Do you think it's the nature of Ford to be sort of so open to new?
I think it hasn't historically necessarily been, but I think in the last few years, really, our company has changed the way we approach a lot of things. One, it's literally from a product development standpoint and getting sync out there and taking a different path forward than other competitors in the space and taking a leadership position. Literally from a product development standpoint, we're operating differently. Tim Westergren said to me today, the thing that blew me away about working with Ford is that literally you moved at the pace of the technology partners we work with. He said what blew him away is when we turned on their team to test out the app link and developing how to interface with the Sync API, he said within 3 days we had, prototypes up and running, and we were pinging things back and forth. And I think that is true, that's kind of a new muscle for Ford. And the same thing's true from a marketing side. I think we're drawing inspiration from what's happening from product development and the great new tools we have for the products, and we're trying to come up with innovative marketing and advertising programs that live up to the same thing.
So I'm sure you're a part of a number of social networks, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. How do you and you must have a certain threshold for what you find annoying that people share, what do you like that people share, and how do you decide what you're going to share and how you're going to engage in these variety of arenas?
Yeah, I'm more of a, I take in more than I put out. I think that what I find is that on Twitter I subscribe and I listen, but I'm not much of a vocal Twitterer or tweeter. On things like LinkedIn and Facebook, what I find interesting are more of the relevant things that people have to say. Hey, I'm attending this conference, but I found this program really interesting, or I've read this book and this is what is cool about it, versus I had a turkey sandwich for lunch.